Yo, yo, yo. It's Thursday. We're back. 2 Thursdays in a row. What do you know?
Oh, I think I'll be home next Thursday.
I thought you were going to be at Master Tech.
We fly back in Thursday.
Oh, so you're going to Master Tech this weekend then?
Yep, this weekend. So we
Oh,
leave Saturday morning, then we get back Thursday afternoon.
okay. Okay. Well, just let me know. May
Yeah,
or may not have a show next week, depending on how things go.
depending if I'm awake or not.
Right. Yeah.
Probably won't be awake. Let's just yeah. Maybe we'll do one.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do it. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how
Right.
I feel.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when I get home.
We can
Yeah,
do that.
yeah. And if you just don't hear from me at all, then you realize I'm
Then
passed
you
the
know.
fuck out somewhere.
Dead. Dean's dead. We won't ever see him again.
No, yeah. I don't. Well, you will, but not for at
Yeah.
least yeah.
Oh,
Because yeah, most of the time it's like you get home, you unpack, you go to bed, or you go to bed and unpack. One of the two. It's like it's like shower just to get the airplane off of you, and
travel
then
days are. I feel like I can do work on a travel day until I get home. Then once I get home, it's like done. I can do work at the airport. I can do what I need to do on a travel day. When I get home, I'm done for the day. Like I made the destination.
see, I can't really get much work done on a travel day. Like,
Really.
yeah, because I mean, I believe it or not, to me, the travel days are like some of the best fun. Like, I
Right.
love flying on a plane. I love the airports. Like, the whole experience of like that is just to me the best. So I feel like dirtying it with work.
Yeah.
I've tried. Like, I've sat in an airport and I've edited a video and I've wrote reports and proposals and all this other crap. And it's fine if there's nothing else going on.
Yeah.
But I don't, especially on an airplane, man. I can't get like I can't think. You know, I can try.
Yeah.
But, like I have some. I always have. There's always something to do, but
I
most of the time, none of it gets done.
I hate it, man. I hate flying. Not because I don't like being on the plane, or yeah, I don't like being on the plane, but it's just people, man. Because I'm usually you have a travel partner, so that's a little bit of a bonus. Me, I'm just by randoms every time.
Well, I mean, I let him sit by the window, and I always sit in the middle. So I've always got the questionably weird person sitting next to me,
Right.
but I just tune them out. It's like I have the ability to not even realize they're there.
Yeah.
Like you can be that. I'm like like I'll get up and I'm like, oh, that's what that person looks like. I've been sitting next to you. I've been sitting next to you for 6 hours. I could not pick you out of a lineup if my life depended on it.
Exactly.
You know.
Oh man. Let's see what Ramsey has to say. Ramsey, if someone I don't know how long you've been in car audio, but since the old days, no one's doing custom boxes for every single sub they're reviewing. It's just not going to happen. That would be absurd to
That'd
build
be
a custom
expensive.
box for. And then where would you put them? What do you do? Destroy them afterwards, or
Wait till you get another subwoofer that works in the same airspace.
right? Well, that's the thing. A lot of people think like a sub works in one airspace when there's a range of
Mm-hmm.
airspace that a sub will work in. I don't know. I feel like sometimes YouTube commenters don't dive deep. They get to the first layer of the onion and assume the answer is there when it's not always there. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes I need to dig a little deeper.
So every now years ago when I used to build boxes, we would end up with that oddball woofer. Like
Right.
we'd have like some weird woofer. It's like, what are we gonna do with this? And that's when I would build the whatever the premium recommended box for that woofer was, and I would make a pretty box. So basically, the box would sell the woofers that were in it.
Yeah.
Um, so I might put their logo on it or some vinyl or some whatever. And you know, I don't know if the boxes sounded any better, but they looked better. So people would always like, this box sounds amazing. And I'd be like, yeah,
Made it
you
right.
know,
I like
yeah.
this. Yeah, you're right, Folio. Unlimited.
Oh, I mean, right?
That would be so nice. That would be
Sweet
nice.
influencer money. You know it, bro.
Yeah.
Banking.
Oh man.
Just letting it rain.
Yeah.
You can
I
call me
almost
Mr. Beast.
so one of my video ideas that I considered was karate manufacturers are lying to you about box specs.
Some
Um,
of them are.
because yeah, some of them are just straight up lying, and then I think overall, um, the manufacturer specs are not going to get you ultimate performance for SPL or SQ. A lot of times, they're happy medium. They're like what they know the sub will perform well in, and take the power that they rated it at, and all these things. But to get peak performance, sometimes it does line up, but sometimes you're outside of what they recommend when you actually put it in a box program and you're kind of
Yeah.
playing around with it.
Well, I always love the guys that give you like power slider across the bottom and the boomy or dry bass across the top,
Mhm.
and it's like it, as you're going up in power, it's like this is what's changing, and it's like, oh, okay, so if I get, you know which is sad because like it's usually on the website but no one ever looks at it, so it's like, so if I get a 600-watt amp, I need to build a box at this size to handle that 600 watts, but it's telling me it's not going to be boomy.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, because the suspension of the woofer requires this amount of airspace in order to.
Mhm.
So no, it's not. Well, I mean, why not?
Exactly. Well, it's like when people first hear a bandpass box,
Cough,
and
cough.
yeah, you're right. You're right, Sean. You're right. When they first hear a bandpass box and they hear it on a range of music that it works well in, they're like, oh,
Oh, they love it.
they fall in love. But then you put in some old music and it plays up higher, plays down lower, whatever the case may be, and you're like, what happened on my bass?
Well, I always have an analogy for how to describe boxes.
Yeah,
And it's so the analogy is, because really you have a sealed box, a ported box, and some version of a bandpass, which is either two ported boxes or sealed in a ported box, right?
right.
And if you think of the sound that comes out of the box as a balloon, right? So it's this sphere, all right. And if here it is round. So I'm gonna make a seal box, and you go, okay. So if I take that balloon and I stretch it out, because everyone always says the same thing about seal, it has wider bandwidth.
Right.
Okay, but I've now stretched the balloon, so the balloon will now shrink like this, and that is your output.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get greater bandwidth, but I get diminished output. So then you go, okay, well, let's port it. So now I release the balloon back in, so I get a limited frequency response compared to the sealed as far as optimal performance. Because at the end of the day, they're all going to play 20 to 80, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's
You
like
got
they're all going to do it.
right.
But now by pushing the balloon back in, I get more output. So at those sweet spot frequencies that everyone loves, I can now tune the output of the box to have a peak in it, and that's why the balloon is now bigger, because it gives you the perceived um, output. Now, this is keeping in mind that we're dealing with the same amount of power and the same woofer, okay? Because obviously, if I have a seal box, I can put more power to the driver and make it louder, and thus, game the system. But I'm not really gaming the system, because if I took that same woofer, put it the same power, and put it in a porta box, it would still have a different performance output. So there again, this is keeping in mind that the starting point is the same. And then we go to a bandpass box, and now I take the balloon and I push it in. So I have even less, I have a limited, super limited frequency response. But within that frequency response, I have massive amounts of output.
Right.
But it's going to fall off. So there again, will it play 20 to 80? It'll play 20 to 80, but at 20 and 80,
Yeah.
it's going to be shit.
Like minus 12 dB or more. Yeah. It's yeah.
So yeah, I mean, years ago, some of you might have been playing like Kung Fu Grip, toys and shit. I built this 215s box for these dudes, and they're like, bro, man, we want the BAMinest 215 box ever. So they sell them this was back when Diamond was Diamond.
Right.
Is it Diamond? Yeah, when Diamond was Diamond.
Daddy subs and all that.
The first Diamond, and they used to have those transmission line boxes.
Yeah.
So I built them a 215s box with the Diamond transmission line. So this thing is massive, man. It's in the back of a Tahoe. So Tahoes were 48 inches wide.
Right.
So you could slide a whole 4x8 sheet of wood into a Tahoe. So, this is literally like 48 by 48, man. 215s, just freaking port forever. And, you played some slow down bass music, and man, this thing lit the fuck up, bro. They were like, God damn.
Yeah.
They immediately played some like house music that had a boom, 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 and it was like a 10. And they were like, what the heck is that? And I go, what do you mean?
Yeah.
How come it ain't like You've never heard the phrase, here's 3 options, pick 2?
Exactly. Yeah.
Bro, you picked loud and boomy. You didn't pick range.
Exactly. Hoffman's iron law for sure.
Peace out, homies. Have a great day.
And so let me ask you this. When do you remember slot ports coming into like where they were mainstream?
I always built slot ports. I never built boxes with PV.
Really?
No, because I didn't have the tools to do it. So
yeah,
a straight line made way more sense in my head.
Right.
So every box that I ever built had take every box I built as a professional. When I was younger, I used to take a jigsaw and do this bullshit. But as a professional, I either built a triangle port, which was cool. We called them the Darth Vader boxes, or we made slot ports. And I preferred to make slot ports because I could build them faster.
Yeah.
Because I would.
They just took over. I mean, you rarely see round port unless it's for aesthetic reasons.
Yeah. Or SPL guys.
Or SPL, right.
Giant things. But no, we always would build slot ports because it was just way faster. I mean,
it adds structural rigidity too.
Yeah.
So
well, it's okay. All right. So you build your basic, bottom, top, middle, and
right.
you have your two. So if you take a box, all right. So the box is sitting like this, you turn it like this. Okay. So it's standing up tall. So you got the side, the middle, the side, top, and bottom. And your port is either going to be an L port, depending on how deep the box is, or it's just going to be a slot port.
Right.
And so, once you've done the math to figure out how big of an opening you need, depending on how tall the box was, and that's where I always got crazy because, if the port needed to be thinner and you couldn't get an inch opening, you would always default to an inch opening because anything smaller than an inch always sounded like shit.
Right. Yeah.
So if the box called, like if it only needed a 3-inch port and you had a 15-inch top piece and you're going, dude, it's going to be like a half-inch slit, it wouldn't sound right. So you would just go up to an inch because the slot port just doesn't perform the same way as a tube. And I know air moving out of a box should be the same, but it's not because it's not like it's a static amount of pressure. There will be different amounts of pressure depending on how long the port is and where the speaker's sitting and all this other horse shit that we just can't mathematically equate for without using some form of modeling software that can take into that.
Right.
All that.
You're not doing that. You're not doing that math in your head.
No, or on a sheet of paper. Right. So, what you would do is you'd go over the table saw and you'd just take your runners. So you'd make, like 1 1/4, 1 1/8, whatever it needed to be. And they would you just sat them on top of the middle piece, put your port in, pow, right up the side. And there again, you didn't have to measure anything because you table saw cut them at 1 1/8. So you'd slide them in, you take your straight edge and draw that and you draw the other side and just bang, 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 bang. Flip the box over, put it in, do the same thing. So now you got side, port, middle, port. And I would always inset my middle. So my port opening would look bigger than it actually was. So I'd always inset my port like 2.5, 3 inches. So I'd have this big opening and I'd be like, oh my God, look at that. I'd be like, yeah, it's not that big. And so then at that point, you just nail in your front and back, and I would always inset my ends 1/4 of an inch. So I just had a piece of 1/4 inch hardboard sitting on my desk all the time. That was, it's literally, I just pull it out. I would line that up on the side and go pow pow pow, flip it over, go pow pow pow. The only time I had to measure was for the center.
Right.
And that there again, there was all of 2 seconds. I just used a big drywall T-square thingy. Nail on the front and back, and the back would get the nails for the center divider, and the front would get the nails for the ports. And then I would take a drill out the center hole, put my flush trim bit on my router. Actually, I had a router that just had a flush trim bit on it because I had like 6 routers. They all had different bits. So I plugged that router in and I just cut out my big hole.
Yeah.
And then I grab my router that had the round over bit, and I'd round it over. And then I would X marks the spots for the 2 centers on the subwoofer and grab my router that had the hole saw on it. Zoom, zoom, zoom. And it was done. And I could knock one of those boxes out probably 20-25 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, if you got a nice setup and you're efficient with what you're doing, you can knock them out.
Now, now I couldn't. Now it would take me forever.
Boxes, dude. There ain't. I mean, it's. I actually like building boxes sometimes, but I really have to be in the mood. I have to be in the mood more.
And the other thing I would do is I always made the front and back panels, like anywhere from 1/8 to 1/4 inch taller than I knew I needed them to be. So I would nail the bottom line.
Right.
And then, the box would always be shifted a little. So then I would line up one of the corners and take my straight edge, or actually I would just put my finger on there and I go shoot all those in. And the last thing I would do is take my flush trim bit and I would shoot off the excess. But that way the top and bottom were always perfect.
Right.
Because I had the hangover. So if for some reason the side panels weren't cut right, or they were crooked, or whatever the hell the panel saw decided to do that day, I didn't have to sit there with a belt sander and sand the top down because, it's hanging over a 1/16 of an inch or some shit like that.
Even when I'm building boxes, it'll do that. And I'll literally make all the same cuts at the same time. Like, how the hell did this? And what you said, you got to use a belt sander or something to do it.
Yeah. Oh no, you're right, Melissa. The slot ports have much less noise. Yeah. Assuming they are built correctly.
To say that is the first slot ports I seen. See, this was probably it's before I started driving. So it's like 94, 93, 94. It was Virtual Technologies. I don't know if you ever heard of them. So their whole thing was they had the loudest boxes. So they had peaky boxes. They were also the first ones I seen Rhino lined.
Oh,
and
very cool.
Would have basic subwoofers like the Hammer, the VT Hammer, and all that stuff. But like people were throwing those in, and they were getting stupid loud with those.
Nice.
And they were essentially kind of like doing a Bose thing because the subs weren't super heavy duty. They
were just efficient.
Yeah. I think
very cool.
Probably lives in this area, so they were kind of big around this area where.
Yeah, I've never heard.
They were wild. I don't know how big they got, but I don't think it was very big.
Yeah, I was gonna say they didn't make it over to here. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's what happened. If you were not in the magazine, or you have a rep that comes around, that's a big one too. If you don't have a rep that comes around and shows you the products, back in the day, the representative's job in that time frame, like 90s to 2000s, was a big deal. Like the reps used to have way more poshness, so to speak, than they do now, because you would see a rep maybe once a month, once every 2 months. You might see a factory guy once a year if you were lucky.
Right.
And these guys, they had it's like, oh my god, the rep's coming today, we should clean the store. Because it was a big deal. You just didn't see them all that often because they were big territories. Nowadays it's like it's a fucking rep. Whatever. What's up, dude?
The internet kind of changed a lot of that because
right. Well, because they were the bringers. they were the sages, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
They were the whispers of what's going on outside of your little piece of hell.
Right.
What's up, party people?
Yo, what's up, Bubba? What's going on, my friend? Josh might be right. Maybe they were from Alabama. I'm sure it was like a small Southern brand because they were big around here locally, but they like burned out quick. It's like 2 or 3 years and then nothing.
I mean, that was a lot of guys back then, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of guys now.
Yeah. I mean, I wish someone, go way faster. What's up, Andy?
What's up, Andy?
Hey, I just want you to know everyone has been asking Andy to test the 1800-watt kicker amplifier, and he's finally going to dyno this thing. You guys are excited, right? Go, Andy. Go, Andy. Go.
I think he already did it. I thought he did.
It was one of those things I saw, like a video popped up in my feed, and it was him saying, you guys have been at, and one of my, fucking irritates the hell out of me is the easiest way to say it. And nothing against Andy. I'm not picking on Andy, but a lot of guys say this, and it just bugs the shit out of me. When I go, dude, everyone is asking me, and so I'm finally going to do it. Or I see it everywhere, or people always say, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Who are these people?
Listen,
Not you, Andy. People legit could have been asking you this, but
it's YouTube that makes us do it, man.
There's a couple other people that no names, but that say shit like that. I'm like, how? When? Where are you at? I know what you do. No, no one is like, you don't even talk to people. How the?
Well, I used to have an old boss, and he would never just come out and tell you something that he wanted to tell you. So it was always, well, they said this, they said that. It's like, listen, who's they? Let me talk to they, because if they has a problem with me, I want to talk to they and clear it up.
Yeah. Like, for sure.
And he's like, well, it's like, you want to say something, you're not saying it.
The logarithm. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. One of the biggest jokes between Haley and I is, I always say that wrong. The logarithm.
Yeah.
It's one there again. I say it wrong now just because it irritates the shit out of her, and I just find it amusing. Fernando's G35. We don't know if it's totaled yet. He's still driving it. The headlights obviously totaled, and the corner of the car's screwed up. But we won't know until we get back. The insurance adjusters and all that stuff happen. So, I mean, to be honest with you, yeah, it's totaled. They're gonna cut him a check. They're not gonna fix that.
Yeah.
So
you can do the pro move. Yeah, just cut the check.
Like Andy, they did keep asking.
Yeah.
No one has dyno yet other than kicker. I try. No, dude, I'm just giving you a hard time, and it's not even you. It's literally one of the things that just irritates the shit out of me. Not for what you're saying, because I know you're fans, and I know people will ask you, like, it's easy for you to point and go, this guy asked me there, this guy asked me there, this guy asked me there. It's so, like, not that. It's just when there's other people that say that, and it's like,
yeah,
legit, I see people every day of the week doing this shit. No one has asked me these questions. How in the fuck did somebody ask you and you don't leave your house?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they come through the McDonald's drive-thru and be like, bro, we'll catch up, bitch.
Just old school. Like Steve Mead. Blast it out, man. In the drive. Yeah.
Bro, so he's got those new distribution blocks, right? With double screw downs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. It's one of those things where you go, yeah, that makes sense. Shit.
Right.
Like, why did it take this long for someone to figure that shit out?
I like the ones that he made that are smaller gauge, but you have to use adapters with them. It's like, no, because I was just going to order full out, right. But I don't want to use the adapters, so I'll wait. I'm sure it'll keep getting refined until it's perfect.
Well, I was just thinking double ferrules. That's all I was thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Double ferrules on the zero gauge, pop them in there. Have this fucking little tiny penis thing and then 2 Allen keys.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a great idea because I was looking at it going, huh. I mean, for what the audience or what the market is that he's dealing with, those things make total sense. I
Right.
don't know how well it would do in my side of the fence, because I'd look at that and be like, how much bigger does it have to be? No.
Yeah.
Can we
Yeah,
just leave the screws?
I have the 3 in, 3 out, and it's a big boy. It's
Yeah.
bigger than the Audison amp, I would say. I
Oh
think
yeah, they're yes, compared to the little guy you have. Oh yeah, for sure,
they're
man.
meant for showing off. Like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I do this SPL build, of course, that's going to be right there in front because we're getting crazy with it.
yeah. Dude, we bought a set of his blocks in copper
Yeah,
for a build we were gonna do for Fernando's person, and we never got around to it. So we have this really nice set of black and yellow and copper SMT blocks, still in the wrappers, man.
yeah,
And it was like, man, those things cost me a fortune. And because I mean, he gave us like, I don't know, he gave us like, he gave Fernando like, the special price, but I mean, it wasn't that special.
no,
Which there again, I don't care.
right.
It wasn't one of those things. I was like, oh, you'll take $10 off? Fuck yeah. Cover shipping. That's cool with me.
Yeah, solid copper is not cheap. That's for sure.
No.
Andy, hit him with it,
No.
Andy.
There's more.
Oh man,
I like, but wait, there's more.
They'll
That
build
to
the
me that adds value.
Yeah.
SPL build. No, it was no SPL build. It was just a small ground zero build
Yeah.
we were doing. We did half of it. So I mean the videos were up. We put the speakers in, made the brackets, and
Yeah.
that's as far as it ever got, because then like that was right at the start of COVID and shit just went sassy. So all right, D. All right, hold on. What's he saying? Dean, get a new mic or
Got a new mic, or got a new mic, or my bass boost is turned up.
no, get a new mic. Yeah, yeah.
Or is my bass boost turned up? Maybe.
Yeah.
You got the kicker headphones on, because if so, the bass boost is turned up.
The bass boost is turned up. I did not get a new mic. No, it's still the Nessie sitting over here out of frame.
The blue, the old blue. Matter of fact,
blue.
the new mic I has a blue ember. So
it's one of those things where I would love to do the whole like, and at some point I know I will, just because it's just cool looking.
Yeah.
But man, these things are so good. It just sucks.
I got to where I had and I do have this set up. I could do this, but I don't like having the mic in my face.
No.
In my shot, I'd rather just like have it with
right.
But I've used it for years within the shot, and then I just kind of got to where I was like, I'd rather have it a little bit out of the shot if I can.
I mean, our show, the show we do during the week, is, we use the shotgun mic that's aimed right at us, because I don't want to have mics in there, and lapels are cool, but the problem with like a lapel is that it's always there. I mean, if you're like it would just bug the shit out of me, and
that's what I hate with like lapels. They have to be perfect, otherwise you get the
yeah. So that kind of stuff just irritated me. So when we started doing the show, we did a lot of research on what to use, and I just it was one of those simple things where I just went, all right, what is Hollywood using? Because these guys are shooting movies and
they got it figured out.
There's no mics in the shots, and they're not using lapel mics. So how the fuck are they doing it? And it's like the guy's standing there like this with a goddamn blimp, that's what they're called. And you're like, I'm just gonna get one of those.
Yeah.
That's those have to work.
Yeah.
So if you ain't clipping, you ain't tripping. So I'm like, thanks for the 20.
Appreciate that.
Dude, and that's the other thing too, like recording audio in a car for playback. What a pain in the ass that is. So I'll record the audio for the videos, like the Cars We Have Heard segment, and it'll be low. It's so low, and it is not fun, because you're just sitting there waiting for those tracks to play out.
Yeah.
And then immediately we shut that shit off and we go directly into playing the other stuff so that I can actually hear it and be like, oh, well, this sounds good. You know, because otherwise I got to sit there and go, oh, that was amazing. And go, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It fucking sucked.
No one solved it. No one solved it yet either. There's no, especially when you get heavy bass, it's like it's.
No, you got to turn the bass down. You got to turn the bass down. Now, the Andy head does a really nice job. It's just you got to carry around Andy's head with you everywhere, and it's kind of a pain. But that is going to work into the workflow because we changed the camera, so we can now use his head. So probably what'll happen is we need to get the right mount for it. We haven't been able to do that yet just because we've been so busy.
Yeah.
But once we get the right mount for it, then it'll just be one of those things where it just goes into the passenger seat. You know, I'll sit in the driver, or it'll go in the driver's seat. I'll sit in the passenger seat, and we'll shoot the videos that way. But yeah, Pioneer subs and Explode amps makes the sheet metal rattle.
It can. It can. I've seen it before.
Yeah, they still make Explode amps. You can still get them.
Can you really? Oh,
yeah, the Europeans sell them. Yeah. So in Europe, they make a 4-channel and a monoblock, and they're the black Explodes.
Wow.
If you're into that. But yeah, because it kind of freaked me out. I was looking at the Sony car, and it had three different amplifiers in it, and one of them was Explode, and I was like,
this is back.
What is going on here? Why is this car? What is this? Why are there 3 different types of amps in here? Is this a joke? And the guy's just kind of looking at me, and he's like, no, dude, it's like those are the 3 series that are still available. And I go, wait, Explode is still available? It's like, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from across the pond, dickhead. We got all the guns. We don't have Explode amps.
Exactly.
Well, that makes sense.
Listen, Sony always gives you. Sony's like a genie wish, right? You're never getting exactly what you want. Like they have the sick 5-channel ES amp, no DSP. They have a 6-channel DSP amp, 80 PRS DSP in it. Like Baby's First DSP is
yeah, Baby's First, total Baby's First.
What are we doing? Like, just like give me this amp.
So the only piece of the ES line that doesn't exist is the DSP.
Yeah,
and that's one of those things where it's like Sony. It's funny. Sony is really good at trying to keep shit quiet. Like they won't tell us shit.
Yeah.
There's one guy that we can talk to that'll be like, fuck that, here, this is what you need to know. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like that's it. You know, but the rest of the guys, dude, you think they had government secrets in their goddamn suitcases, bro? They won't tell you shit. But when you look at the line and you go, all right, well, you design these amplifiers with all these fucking electronic crossovers on them that are like way convoluted. Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, yes, thank you for putting bandpass channels and 10-time multiplier switches, but who the fuck is using this in this day and age? Like, if I'm buying an 8-channel amplifier, it's going to have a DSP or it's getting connected to a DSP.
Right, yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's the thing with all the nice crossovers and stuff. Like, let's do this electronically. Let's not do this. And it's like when they came out with the really nice the deck that Nando has.
Yeah.
Like, that thing's sick, right? But $1,600 or whatever it was, new 15.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
You know, I've always liked Sony. Never had an amp. Yeah, never. You know, dude, listen. Like the Japanese amplifiers, which is like your Alpine, your Sony, your Kenwood, JVC, whatever. You know, those Japanese amplifiers. They have always been solid. Like the 3545 or whatever, that Alpine little thing that
you're talking about the small one.
Yeah, that thing lasted forever. Like, and dude, when we sold Alpine V12 amplifiers back in the 90s, dude, never sent one of those back.
Yeah.
With the exception of the 1500, because Japanese just could not build big amplifiers that would last, because
Right.
well, and that was Americans' fault, because we would try to put them in situations that was like, excuse me, where is the battery power for amplifier? And you'd be like, bro, what are you talking about, man? This thing's like $450 for 1500 watts. Everyone's gonna own one of these, and everybody did. And someone just said, wait, what? $450 for 1500 watts? You got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Well, because you got to think of it at the same time, the 2100 or the Beast, that was like what, $1,800?
$1,000.
Oh, it was 1,000. I couldn't remember the price on it, but yeah,
it was either $8 or $9.99 depending on who you were buying it from.
Okay, yeah. So that's not a little bit of money in the early 90s. That's a
lot of money.
That's a chunk.
Yeah. Because I worked at a place and couldn't even afford one. Yeah. I can't buy one of those. What are you crazy? I can afford the 222. I got 222 money, not 2250 money.
And I know that the Rockford Fosgates, like
the Power 650s and the Power 1000s.
Dude, those were expensive. Those were legit expensive.
Yeah, but they looked cool as fuck, man. So
still do.
Yeah, that one with the 5 little lights on the top cover.
Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck, that's
Terminator.
Yeah, that's so gay. It's so basically dumb, but fuck, it's so cool. I don't know what it is about how boring that is.
Yeah,
I mean, it's 5. Like, we got shit now that'll just be like, boom, and you'll be like, holy shit! But 5 little lights doing this, and you're going, you seeing this,
dude? You know what's still cool?
Seeing this?
Like Tony Diamore's, he does all the SMD meters.
Oh yeah,
those are still cool as hell to me.
Oh yeah. I know, dude.
Like I wanted the big
one.
Yeah, the big Rockford with it built in.
Yeah. No, I want the big one that he has on the wall. You know, the back of the car.
That's definitely a one-off. Yeah, that's
to me. I'm like, how much is that? I mean,
listen,
how much?
Let's just agree we take Steve's whole house, because it's like a. I mean, it's a dream situation for an audio guy.
I mean, hey, kudos to him, man. I'm glad, and he works his ass off though. So
yeah, I mean, hey, he earned it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, question, says Andy. What is the oldest piece of car audio you guys own today?
I'm trying to think.
So it's
right here.
I have the half-in, half-length Kenwood EQ.
Oh yeah,
that's
this is
old.
Probably.
Oh yeah, that's older. Yeah, I don't have anything that old.
And I had to have. I mean, come on, I had to have it, right?
Yeah.
So, someone sent this to me.
Well, I mean, that's the best, right?
Yeah. So this thing just awesome. I have 3 or 4 car audio things. Of course, I have a Surround Vega that Derek gave me.
Yeah.
The double surround one. There was one more Vega piece that I have, but this is definitely probably the oldest thing I have.
So the last trip we did to audio control, Chris Kane, who's been there since the dawn of time, he brought me, in his garage, he had like number 3 of the second or third, I think it had to be like the second version of the Epicenter.
Yeah.
From the 90s, 80s or 90s, I don't know. And he's like, hey man, this is like serial number 3.
Wow.
I know it was in my garage. We used to always take these things home. I know you'll appreciate this. Here you go. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'll appreciate this.
Yeah.
For me, it's not necessarily how old something is, it's how odd something is. Like, I like odd shit, like that fuse distribution TV monitor thing that I had that we did the video on. Not to me, that thing is cool as fuck, because that's a piece of Stinger history that it never happened, but there's one that exists, and I got my fucking hands on it. I also have So iData wanted to make radio pros for PAC.
Right.
So the RP5s, RP4s, the next iteration of those, which PAC now has, which is Radio Pro, to go with Amp Pro and follow the thing, but they still make like RP5. They still make the old shit, which I just scratch my head and go, why would you do that? Well, they're $10 cheaper. That's fucking stupid. Anyways, iData was trying to get that business from them, like, hey, and so they made a one-off RR Radio Pro. So it's basically an RR, an iData RR Blue, and a whole box. I mean, it's literally like all set and ready to hang on the shelf. It was a complete system.
It wasn't even like a prototype. It was like a for sale.
It was a marketing sample. So and I was like, I got my hands on that, and I was like, because somebody there again found it and was like, I know who wants this. They brought it to me, and I was like, oh, this is the fucking coolest thing ever. No one could appreciate it. Like, no one will appreciate what that thing is, because it's the dumbest thing ever. But to me, it's fucking cool as shit, because there's only one. I have a DMRTA. I have one of the first prototype DMRTAs.
Yeah, the zero.
No, not the Epicenter. This is the RTA.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So the DMRTA, which is audio control's little RTA piece. We were in a training with Chris Bennett at the time when he worked there, and one of the things that made audio control's RTA software cool was that it had an electrical RTA on the input side. So when you would select input channel 1 and 2, there would be an electrical RTA that would appear on the bottom, and you could see the signal that was coming into the processor, because that just made sense to them. Most manufacturers still don't do that, but it made total sense to them because they're an RTA company. They made the 3544, whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
And so they did that, and it was like, what, and they're like, so you can use one of our amps or our 608 as an electrical RTA. You can just hook it up and do this shit. And I go, why would you just not put that in a box? Oh, it'd be too expensive. And I was like, for who? Like, you guys make microphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was one of those things where it was like, there again, not taking credit for it, but oddly enough, 6 months later, talk of the DMRTA. So clearly it was one of those things where Chris was like, yeah, he's right. We should just fucking make this piece. And they did. And so they sent us the prototype to test out, which we shot some videos with it. And I mean, this thing barely fucking worked. It's like they had to cut it with tin snips to get the shit to line up. And I mean, we beat the fuck out of this thing. We fried the software, and it doesn't work anymore. And but they were like, okay, send it back. And I go, why? You're just gonna throw it in the trash? Like, yeah. So, well, it's gonna stay right where the fuck it's at. You're never getting this thing back. And they're like, okay.
Yeah.
So, like, I have a lot of oddball shit like that to me, that's way cooler. Like, manufacturers say, hey, I want to send you, just send me the fucking PCB. I don't, like Rockford with the half of the X-type woofer. I'm sorry, kicker.
The 19.
Oh, no, the 19, yeah. No, that was Rockford.
19 too, right?
No, I'm saying the whole 19. I wanted that because what do they sell? Like 3 of those a year if they're lucky?
Right.
And it makes a really cool Christmas tree, let's be honest. But like, Kicker made that half Solo X, and I'll have that forever, and I know what's going to happen to a lot of those. They're just going to go into the trash can.
Right.
Yeah. And I have an Elma Gates woofer that's it's beat to shit, but it's still.
Was it one of the signed ones?
No. No, this was literally one of the, like, they found it in the back of a fucking install bay somewhere. They were using it as a doorstop.
Yeah.
It was like, dude, you know what that is? They're like, yeah, it's a fucking doorstop.
The marketing stuff. I always like the marketing stuff.
Oh, kicker alternator. Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. See, that shit like that is the stuff I like. Yeah. Marketing shit is extremely cool too.
Yeah.
That's
I like magazines. I don't look at them anymore.
Yeah.
But I like having them.
I don't have any of my car stereo magazines left.
Yeah.
They all eventually went away. Do I feel bad about it? Probably, but I wasn't like a month-to-month guy.
No, me neither.
It was one of those things where it's like if you're in a store and you see it, you'll buy it, and that was about it.
Dude, I had like 3 milk crates full of them. And when we built this house, moved into it, whatever, I don't know how, but 2 of them got.
I know where they went. Your wife took care of them.
Probably. Also, I think she also took had also a Sega Genesis with like the original one, the Master System.
Yeah.
Like 80 games. That is also gone.
No, the mover stole that.
Yeah. No, we didn't. We didn't have mover money. We were the movers, but I don't know what the hell happened to it.
So the only thing I felt really like, there's a lot of things over the years that I've like, damn it, why didn't I keep one of those? The one thing that I was like kind of bummed that I got rid of now, which I still had, is I had this satin JBL jacket.
Yeah.
Black satin, shiny JBL logo on the back. It was gaudy as fuck, and I don't remember who I gave it to, but there was somebody that it was perfect for, and I gave it to him.
Right.
And I look at it now and go, why did I get rid of that fucking thing? That was so cool. So like I still have 3 Alpine jackets. 3? Maybe 2. 2 or 3 Alpine jackets. Which one of them is straight 90s, like straight 90s, man. It's like 3 or 4 different colors.
Yeah.
It's like blue, gray, and black, and all puffy. Yeah. And it's like, I'll never wear it again, I don't think, but you never know. I mean, it's pretty cool. It was in one of our videos that we did like in the first couple years we were doing it. But shit like that, it's like, that's kind of cool. Yeah. I like that.
That's like Derek had bought an old, like he showed me an old video, like one of the first camcorders that ever came out.
Yeah.
Digital, I think. The first digital camcorder. So it was around that.
Yeah.
Like, you should totally, because he revived old school stereo, like you should totally do an intro with that camera and have like the sickest, legit old school looking, video footage. It would just be.
I put up, so there's the video of me, the day in the life of whatever.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so that was all filmed on a VHS-C camera.
Really, was it?
Yeah, which is still sitting in the closet over here. I don't know if the original, because I had a couple VHS-Cs. I still have one VHS-C, and then I also had a JVC digital, but I didn't really film anything cool on it.
But wait, that was of the time though, right?
Yeah, no, that was
that's what.
Yeah, that was dude. That was literally driving, fucking gear shifting and shit. Holding the camcorder.
But like, imagine like having all your modern shit, but because you can make film kind of look like that, but just have like the legit old camera and shit.
Yeah, there's some grain.
It's gonna look like it's from the 80s.
Yeah, because there's some grain that those things do that is not replicatable. Yeah. Because it gets like it. What it does around here, because of the resolution now, is so fucking weird. Like I got a ton, like everything I had on VHS-C, I burned over to digital at some point onto a DVD, and then I imported the DVD into the computer, so I have it on a hard drive, and I still have all the DVDs somewhere. I know where, but
yeah.
And there again, a lot, there's a couple, I have some really nice ones of like Sue's grandfather.
Right.
And it was, dude, it's so weird because like when I was recording them, I'm going, I know the posterity that these are capturing right now. And at some point, this is going to be cool. Like I have a video of my grandfather before he passed away.
Wow.
And, like to hear, it's funny. I made a copy of it. I posted it and gave it to her family, and which they probably lost it, because If it's not on Facebook, it doesn't exist, right? So
Right,
it's one of those things where I should just probably post it on Facebook. But it was neat because her aunt was like, dude, it was so weird hearing my dad's voice again.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, you know, it is weird, right? I mean, all that stuff is weird.
Well, we had recently this or last year had our wedding VHS tape digitized, sent it off.
Oh, nice.
Well, because we didn't have no VHS player, so now we got it on a CD. But rewatching it, like my mom, who's passed away, is on there talking. My
Oh,
brother
yeah.
passed away is talking. Another family friend is
Oh,
on
fuck.
there, and it's like you
Yeah.
see. I think there's probably like 5 or 6 people that have passed since then, so it's just cool to kind of be back in that moment for a little bit.
Yeah, dude. Well, fuck, my uncle, who's long dead, filmed ours and narrated it while he was filming it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's just strange to hear him talk while he's filming it, and
Yeah.
you're like, holy shit, because he was he was the cool uncle.
Mhm.
He was a retired cop, and he was just like, he was the fun guy, and like, hey, let's go gamble and
Exactly.
find hookers and snort blow. And you're like, you're a cop, yeah, whatever, fuck it, I know the right people, then let's do it. Like, oh,
I'll get us out
okay,
of trouble.
yeah.
Well, it's cool because you get to also see it from his perspective.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it's like yeah.
Haley laughs her ass off when we watch this thing. We should do. That's actually what her and I should do one time. Is just do like a
home video.
Where we watch it and she just says stupid shit through the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah, why not? It's Haley. Let her do it, right?
And just let Haley do Haley things. That's when Haley's the best.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure, no doubt.
That's peak Haley.
Yeah. Well, you have to cue her up though. I mean,
true.
Like, I have to play your role where I just cue her up.
Yeah, let me say that's one of my favorite things to do.
I know.
It's like to set the tee up, and see my buddies knock it down.
Well, so like this past Sunday, I totally forgot that we were supposed to do a show because it was the longest weekend, man. Oh my god. Like Disney Run weekends are the dumbest thing ever.
Oh, I've seen the videos, or not the videos, but the pictures.
Yeah, but they don't really. Okay, so I came to some conclusions while I was there freezing my ass off because I freeze real easy now.
Yeah.
Anyways, I got to get up at 2:40 in the morning. No shit. Alarm goes off at 2:40. We leave the house at 3:30 to drive to Epcot.
Yeah.
So it takes about 15 minutes to get there. We sit in the car for about 10 minutes just to whatever. And then you walk into Epcot. You have to go through their metal detectors and security and all that bullshit. And then you walk over to the start line. So that's about 1.5 miles. Okay. And then you stand in your queue with many thousands of other people waiting for the race to start. And they release about, I don't know, a couple hundred people, every like 3 or 4 minutes once the race starts. So depending on where you're at, the race starts at 5. You might not actually start your race until like 5:30.
Right.
And I'm there freezing my ass off. It's 5:30 in the morning. I've been up for 2.5 hours or whatever the fuck it is, or 3 hours, and I'm like, I'm ready. This is fucking stupid. Like, and I'm looking at how excited these people are, and I'm going, this is not my thing. I'm only there because I want to support Haley.
Right.
But like, these people are so fucking jazzed to do this thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys are just dumb as fuck. And they're all like, and they're telling their heartfelt stories about all their nonsense about, I was half dead and then Jesus touched me and now I'm here to run this race at Disney and it's so amazing. And I'm just like, oh, fuck that. I want to be sleeping, And so anyways, you do whatever race it is. We did a 5K and a 10K. And the 5K is just a fun thing. It's not anything spectacular. Sue does that with us, and we walk around. We have a good time. And then the 10K, Haley takes that one a little bit more seriously, and we run a lot of that. And anyways, when you're done with the race, it's only like 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay.
When you're done?
when you're done. It's only because I mean it starts at 5:30. It's like 6:30 we were done with the 5K, and 7:10 we were done with the 10K. And I'm like, okay, but you've been up for 5 hours. So you immediately go home, and they have this whole routine that they do now. Like they figured out this whole routine. Like it's they order IHOP on the way home, DoorDash IHOP, which is hilarious. And so it's like you get home, you take a shower, you eat this IHOP, and then I just went back to fucking bed. And then you wake up at like noon, 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2. I don't know. These guys will sleep all fucking day if you let them.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, so what do I do now? And so then you start a whole nother day. And it's like, Jesus Christ. So it's like a 3-day weekend. It's like a 6-day weekend.
Oh, geez.
And you're like, fuck, this is so
brutal.
long.
That's brutal, man. I don't know.
It's fun.
It. Yeah. Listen, like Cassie's already figured out a long time ago that if she actually really wants to do something, she has Bailey ask me as if it's her idea.
Yeah.
Because I tell her this all the time. There's like 3 women in my life that I can't say no to. In this order, it's Bailey, Cassie, and then my niece.
Right.
Like that order, whatever they want to do, I'm basically going to do it.
Yeah.
Let's just completely out of pocket for me.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it was stupid. Wow, you threw away a set of Cantons.
Ooh. Man.
Wow, to put in a set of Sonys.
Ooh. We all make.
I mean, everyone makes a crappy version of something, and everybody makes an old version, right? If they're really old. But I mean, Canton back in the day was a premium brand.
Mm-hmm.
So like doing that is not something most people would do. But there again, if they're old shit, who cares, right?
And that's the thing. Like at that point, it's like this is old. Someone's got the new hotness out. I think.
I mean, fuck, Volvos used to come with a dying audio system in them.
Yeah.
Okay, fucking straight up dying audio system.
Yeah,
like
people
audio dying audio speakers. What's that?
Those people still salvage the speakers out of those.
Well, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't tell you how many times people be like, throw this trash away, and you're just like,
yeah,
trash? What the fuck you got at home, bro?
Exactly.
I mean, what soundbar are you using from Walmart? Fucking A. Like, these are goddamn dying audios, you dumbass.
One is people don't know. Either they don't know, I guess.
Oh, it just sounds like shit. Oh, that one's rattling.
Yeah.
Oh, that one rattles. Stuff from BC, British Columbia, Canada. Hey. I had to talk to 2 Canadians tonight. And about, I love it. I don't, about.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I don't even know how, like, at this point, is it even, like, it should just be rewritten. That should be a word.
Yeah.
Like, there's about and there's a boot. Like,
I can't think Canadian without thinking of South Park. They kind of ruined it.
They ruined it for you?
They ruined all of Canada for me. Yeah.
Now my highs are Diamond Hex.
Those were pretty nice back in the day.
So I'll tell you the funny story about the original Hex series, not the current Hex series, but the original Hexatech cone speakers, just for you, so that you know. So when Diamond used to be partly owned by Max Factor, the makeup guy.
Yeah.
Because he was the neighbor of the guy that started the Diamond Audio. Diamond Audio was, the engineers were all home audio engineers. Needless to say, they had the D5 subwoofer that was just the biggest piece of shit turned into the D6 subwoofer. And then they came out with the Hex subwoofer, which was this giant subwoofer with this aluminum basket, neodymium magnets, and it was, for its time, it was one of the coolest fucking woofers ever. And then they had the Hex speakers, and the funny thing is this cone. So you had the M6 or the D6 speakers had the same basket, basic motor structure. It was almost identical. One had an aluminum cone, and the other one had the Hex cone. So, and the Hex cone was clearly a lot more money.
Right.
The company that was making the Hex cone for them, they made their batch, and they were like super cool. And then they went to order the second batch, and like, hey, we need more cones, because that's what you did, right? You say, hey, we're out, we need more. And they were like, sorry, we can't make your cones because it's like some Swedish company or some
Yeah.
Norway or one of those like they
And
were
then-
making skis.
I feel like some European companies are just so like, oh yeah, your whole business. I'm sorry that interferes with. Who cares if your livelihood's done?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
decided to do something else.
Yeah, so they're making skis, and they're like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, we can get to your shit in like 3 months when we're done with ski time." And they're like, "Well, what the fuck?" And they're like, that's what we're doing now. We're not making dog bowls, we're making skis. So so they were out of hex speakers for like 4 months while they were waiting for these guys to get done making skis so they could make them more hex cones. I'm pretty sure they're made in China now, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like Arkansas, that's how business. Like, well, we'll get to it when we get to it. Oh man,
yeah. If you have the room for the flax 3-way, do the flax 3-way.
Do the flax.
Yeah, I mean, if you can put the 3-way in properly, go with the 3-way for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, K2 2-way sounds great. We were jamming out to it tonight with the Jetta that's in the install bay right now that we'll show you guys the finished product of tomorrow morning. It has a set of Kevlar 2-ways in the front, and it sounds fantastic. But when you can get that mid-range in there, it does just adds to it, just gives you that fuller stage that it's hard. Never had
when you have the 3-way, when you have the 3-way, you can put a little bit more power, unless you're doing passive. But if you're doing active, you can put a little more power in the mid bass and tighten that range up and get a little bit more output and bring your mids up higher if you can.
Higher love. Had 3 D3 subs. Yeah, dude, the D3s were the most popular. When they came out with the D3 stuff, the original D3 stuff, man, it just, yeah. So it was funny because what happened, the reason why we carried Diamond, the original Diamond back in the day, was we were big image dynamic guys. We sold a shit ton of image dynamics.
Yeah.
And they made a couple bad investments and basically pretty much bankrupt the company. The only thing left of Image Dynamic is the guy that makes the ID Maxes because they're owned by Powerbase now. And Powerbase really hasn't figured out what they want to do with Image Dynamic. Because it's like, do we run with it? And it's like, yeah. Why would you not? And they're like, we got the ID Maxes. And it's like, there's 2 people making ID Maxes all day long. I mean, how fun is that? But because Image Dynamic just kind of dried up, we transitioned into Diamond, and we were there was one year we were the biggest Diamond audio dealer in the country.
Wow.
And there again, that's one of those things I wish I still had, because it was this cool acrylic plaque that they gave us, and I was like, man, somebody should end up with this, and it ended up in the dumpster, I'm sure,
as always.
All
right, that means it's time for some nonsense.
As if this wasn't enough. There's going to be more.
Not yet. Wait, there's more non-audio nonsense though. So
yeah,
click the link. We're reviewing The Last Airbender.
Ooh, yeah.
No show next week unless there is.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
Yeah, we will let you know. All right, see you later.